Hey, I'm back. This is Chandler for Melda Production, and today I want to show you how you can create an evolving pad sound. Not just a normal one, but I'm going to call it a hyper-evolving pad sound. And I'll show you like an easy example, but of course you can take this and make it much more complicated. So I'll basically show you what I have, and this is using no effects. So it gives you an idea of what it sounds like. And there's lots of different elements in there, but let's do it from scratch. So basically it's using three things. So I'll do, let's say, like just a basic oscillator here. Let's add some unison here. Set this to optimize. So this is just basically a saw wave. It's like a super saw. I can add more voices here, like 8 or something. So I'm hearing that phase there. Pew! I don't want that. So let's change the initial phase to random. Good, it's gone. Okay, now that's kind of enough for that. Let's go in here and I can use the filter. And let's see, I'll use a 12 decibel per octave low pass filter. So I'll start at about 1 octave and let's just move this randomly. So random LFO1, let's go up to about like 3 octaves like this. It's a little bit too fast. If you're wondering why mine might look slightly different than yours, I'm on a new beta, but it should be out for everybody soon. So that's cool, and that's not only moving the filter randomly, but it's doing it per voice. So you can hear it that the different voices are not moving at the same, I guess, phase. Actually, not even the same phase, same speed. So that gives it a lot, and you're thinking like, okay, that's cool, but still we're not doing a lot. I'll show you where the real fun comes in. Is what we're going to do is we're going to open up this, and let's use wavetable 8. Let's turn on the unison here. Do the same thing, use optimized, random initial phase, and let's just load in something here. What I'm going to do is try to load in, let's say, the church organ. No, let's try jazz organ. I'll use rock organ, okay? It has a few too many, so let's move this back down to 4, like this. Looks pretty good. Now, let's move this using an LFO. I guess we can use LFO1 here. Crank this all the way up. Set the speed. I don't want this to go too fast. So let's see about this speed. Let's see what this sounds like. Let me turn this lane off. That's okay. Now, I can do the same thing. I want another one almost exactly like this. I'm just going to copy it and move it to lane 3 here, and we can paste it. So we have the exact same thing, everything's set up for us, and let's just change this to another preset. So let's say church organ. Let's hear how this one sounds. So I had the same problem. I need to change this, move it down to 4. So now we have these 3, but what we're going to do now is put them together. And so I'm sure I've shown you the mixer before, but there's actually another way to mix them together, which is a little bit more useful. And that's this ratiomulti. So this is, I don't know, fairly new, but I think maybe it hasn't been in use for a long time. And so what we can do is right click this, and you see where it has the different inputs here. So we can do 1, 2, and 3. But you see these are still going to the output, so let's use steal inputs for 1, 2, and 3. So there, everything is going into this ratio. And if I put it all the way to the left side, it's going to play just this first wavetable. If I move it towards the middle, it's going to play the oscillator with the filter. If I move it towards the other side, the other rave table. So I can scan through all of them like this. So that's good, and of course I can adjust this like the unison if I think I want something else in there. And this is great, but let's try something else. Let's take the ratio and let's move that according to another LFO. Let's say LFO 2. And let's bring the speed down here, maybe this speed or so. You can do any speed you want. I might want that a little bit slower actually. But now let's hear it. I like this. This is sounding pretty good. One thing I might want to change is let's go to the envelope and make sure the initial envelope, the attack, and the release are more pad-like. But this is good, but there's still some things that we can play with this with. So, for one thing, instead of just having it the same pitch, let's move it down an octave. And let's move this wavetable up an octave like this. Now let's hear it. Now this is really cool, but it seems like it's kind of like moving between them, and I want it to seem more like mixed up and fluid, and there's actually a good way we can do that. So you saw here we had this ratio knob here, and we're using an LFO. Now one really cool thing we can do here is you see this initial phase, so we can move this and think like, you know, what difference does it make if it starts here, here, here? But if you move it all the way to the right, it's random. And this means it's per voice random. So each note I press, so if I play a C major chord, the C will start in one place, the E will start in another, and the G will start in a completely different place. And so when they're moving like this, each voice will go in and out, so they're not all in sync, and it gives it a more lush sound, like this. And that's how you get that really lush sound from doing that. And of course, there's even more things we could do with this. We could add like little effects in between here. So let's say in this third slot, if I wanted to add an effect like, let's say, tremolo or something. So let me change the shape slightly. Ooh, not like that, more like that. And now we have this tremolo type effect on this wavetable. So it sounds like this. And as you see, there's a number of per voice effects you can do with this. You can add filters in between there. You can add filters after all these. And of course, you can just go into the FX section and add effects there. If you're wondering what the difference is, in the generator section, all these effects are per voice. So that means that each note can have slightly different settings. So I could have the rate, slightly offset for each different note I'm playing in here, whereas the FX section, I can't do that. It just does all of them in the same rate or depth, etc. But of course, it uses less CPU, so you can decide that. So I just wanted to go over the way to do this. Of course, you can make this as deep or as simple as you want, and I'm using the wavetable and the oscillators, but of course, you could do this with the modal filter. You could use the additive oscillator, you could use the sampler to do this and mix these things together to find your own lush or harsh pad, however you like it. So I think this is a really good use of MSoundfactory, and this is one of those things that's really difficult to do in lots of other products, but in MSoundfactory, it's really easy and fun. So if you like this, give me a thumbs up. If you have any questions, leave those down below and check out all the other plugins at meldaproduction.com. Till next time, see you.